Well, Davina, in your experience as a leader, as a woman entrepreneur, how common is it to face gender-based discrimination in the lending process itself? Are there, specific loan segments, for instance, business versus personal, where this may be more common?
I really don't have personal experience because I bootstrapped my venture, so I did not raise outside debt or equity. So it was, especially not at the initial stages at all. So I don't have first-hand experience of this particular thing, but I mean, gender bias exists in many, many ways. For example, if you look at venture capital, not just in India, but even in, let us say, which is a more developed market, the US, far fewer women-founded ventures are funded. The amounts they get are also lower, but that's the resultant. It was very interesting that a study was done on the process of deciding on whether or not to fund a venture. And what they found was that when it was a man presenting, the questions were about how big is the opportunity, how large can this whole venture be, et cetera, et cetera. It was about the scope and the, about the white blue yonder. But when it was a woman, the questions were very skewed towards about what can go wrong, what are the risks, et cetera, et cetera. So it was, the questioning itself was completely different. So the fact, people will say that there's no gender bias and it's only because, the women founded ventures were not that attractive that they weren't funded, but the process itself showed that there was a bias. So, but this was quite a shocker when I read this on LinkedIn, because this is not something I expected, especially in the financial sector where there have been so many women leading institutions over the years. And so it's, rather, so it was quite a surprise to hear something like this.
Davina, listening to what, some of the other panelists are saying, what are the tangible consequences of this kind of a discrimination on women-led businesses, in terms of hindering their growth, their access to capital, and overall financial stability itself?
I mean, it has a big impact and it is very pervasive, and I think it is pervasive in the society itself. Apeksha spoke about the banks or the venture capitalists asking these questions. Unfortunately, even as recently as in the last year or two, every time I'm interviewed by a young woman, very often they will ask me that if it's like a women in finance or something, that how do I choose a career where I can balance home and family? And it breaks my heart because no man has ever asked me this. So it's only the young women, because they have also internalized this conditioning that they have to look after the home along with the career, that it is not going to be an equal thing at home. So it's part of it is societal and the conditioning, but it is also, the unfortunate thing is to see it out there in this blatant term in the workplace. So there's always, of course, subtle discrimination in the workplace, women getting talked over more. Even somebody like Indra Nooyi, even up to the time she reached the Pepsi boardroom, writes that the same idea coming from her would be called too theoretical, and then the next guy would pick up the same idea and the board would accept it, till she started to kind of point it out jokingly. So there are all these levels, and even way back when I was at IIM Ahmedabad, I remember there's a long story why, but we were a 5-girl group looking for one more member, and no guy wanted to join a 5-girl group. And no matter how many times we said that we often join 5-guy groups, but it's different. I mean, you are supposed to fit into the man's world, but not the other way around.
Well,
but
Davina, I'm sure, Davina, many of those men later regretted that decision very much. Davina, coming back to you on this in terms of, despite it making economic sense clearly because women are better borrowers, we continue to see these kind of practices. What kind of policy changes are required in this, at least for the regulated entities like banks and NBFCs, very tightly controlled, to ensure this gender bias is eliminated?
I think it has to come from the top. And they said a lot of financial institutions, banks and NBFCs have been led by women. And I would have thought that that would have made a change to the culture, but clearly that has not. So it has to come from the top that this is not acceptable, that this kind of gender discrimination is not acceptable. And maybe the staff down the line has to be trained in that as a specific thing that you cannot discriminate on gender as well as on other things, So, basically that it should end discrimination, because otherwise, just because it makes economic sense, it doesn't always happen. I mean, even at the time when I graduated from IIM, for example, company which of course now is merged and no longer exists separately, there was a company called Ponds, which used to make mainly women's cosmetics, but as a policy, they would not hire women. They would not even consider hiring women. So, things can be as extreme as that. And all, of course, everything shows and that diversity helps ultimately the business. And as the statistics show, women are better borrowers, just as they are better panchayat heads and many other things. In general, even if a loan is given to a woman, these are also statistics that it tends to help the family and community much more than when it's given to men, even at a smaller scale.
Well, needless to say, you can't have economic progress without half the population participating. Devina, should there be penalties or consequences for institutions which engage in this kind of behavior despite all of this? As a founder, as a CEO, as a leader in the financial space, what to your mind are some of the measures that can be taken to hold lenders accountable for any discriminatory practices?
I think in theory we can talk about it. In practice, it won't work because the institutions will always say that this was not the reason why they declined the credit and there was some other reason. So, that's, and in Indian civil courts anyway, any of these things take a very long time and no one is going to pursue this decline of loan for 20 years. So I don't think, that really would work. What would work is, as I said, it has to come from the top. What can be mandated is training to people in financial institutions that they do not discriminate, as I said, not just based on gender, it can be caste, in another country it can be race. So basically that those things should not come into it. And if you do not do these changes and then you train AI on, even if you don't tell them and tell AI that decline if there is no male guarantor, if that is the way you've been doing things, the AI will figure it out on its own and it will start to do that. So unless, things are really changed, I don't think coercive measures would will help here, because you cannot force somebody to give credit, and an institution can always find some reason why it did extend credit or did not fund a startup. So it cannot be coercive measure, that's for sure. You have to do it another way.